during that press conference is when those tapes were being made right down the street.
Okay, so
Which is kind of weird.
Tracy's dead.
Tracy's dead, yeah. But Tracy did not make an on-camera statement like
right,
that.
that's what I'm saying, but he's dead.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
So anyway, Marco was clearly trying to get Military X to come forward. Military X said, "There's all the money in the world. I'm not going to come forward. It's never going to happen. You can just forget about that." But they became kind of friends. And while I was there, I just said, let me go meet this guy. See if he'll just meet with me. Off the record, just meet with me. And to my surprise, he agrees to meet with me. Marco and I didn't dilly-dally. We got into our car at night and we drove up into the way north of Varginha. And we arrived, and boy, I could tell you, I felt like it was different. Right? We were kind of in the depths of Brazil at that point. I stood out, and we got to this place. It was like a road truck stop bar kind of place. And it was at night, and the bar kind of spilled out into the parking lot. Like there were chairs that were from the bar that just, more so than just the terrace, it just spilled out into the parking lot.
Were you guys managing tails while you're down there? Like, are you checking to see if you're being tailed everywhere?
I mean, I was, the paranoia started a little bit around this time.
Okay.
So we show up at this place, and people are looking at us. I mean, I stood out, really stood out, because,
You don't say.
Yeah. And so Military X is with another guy, younger guy, and they jump in the back of our car, and they're like, let's go. It's like, okay. They're like, where are we going? Like, it was a little sketchy. He takes us off 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 blocks away. We go to another restaurant that's outdoors. And we sit outside, and the waiter, this woman, is like, well, what's going on here? What are you? Who are you? And what are you doing here? Who are you with these guys? Like, what's it? It's like,
intelligence
what are
officer.
you guys talking about? Like, just started asking all these questions, but kind of like jokingly, not like pleasantly, like lighthearted, but still, she was curious. Like, what the hell you guys do? This is weird. This is a weird situation. What's going on? Kind of thing. And Military X jokes with her and goes, "Oh, we're talking about Disneyland." We all kind of laughed, and off she went, and she didn't ask any more questions. But we just talked, and I was looking him in the eyes, and I talked about the importance of, sometimes there are stories that are more important than individuals, and that this is kind of, if this really happened, this story is so much more important than any one of us. This is a big story that could potentially have a greater impact on all of humanity, kind of thing,
And when you were asking him this and meeting with him, because this is before you interviewed him on camera, obviously,
I look him in the eyes.
You knew full well what his role allegedly was.
Absolutely. I'd already seen it. Yeah, 100%.
There's no doubt about it.
Zero. I wouldn't be wasting my time.
But
zero.
meaning there wasn't, like, when you got him, what I really should ask is, when you got him on camera, there wasn't really anything surprising about...
Oh, no. There was definitely more levels of detail. Well, okay, so when I watched the tapes of this guy from back in 1996, it didn't have lower thirds. So Marco, my partner, Leal, would translate as much as he could, as best he could. And obviously during the interview, but when I had it professionally translated, like professionally, word for word, everything, and had multiple people go over it, I got a level of detail for that for the first time. That was pretty remarkable.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but in any case, at the dinner, I've done this a number of times before. I did it in Australia with
the 66 sighting.
Yeah, the 66 sighting in Westall with the teacher, Mr. Greenwald,
the teacher.
Yeah, Greenwood.
Yeah.
Greenwood. It was Greenwood. Yeah, I did it with him, where I look people in the eyes and I look into their soul, and I just explain the potential significance of their story, and that it matters more than us. And if everybody, if everybody stuck to that level of secrecy, it's just not fair. This is something that we're all entitled to, kind of thing. In a nice way. I get the fear factor and all that. And I think he enjoyed meeting me. I certainly enjoyed meeting him.
What did you see when you looked in his eyes?
Oh,
because you talked in detail about these other guys.
Beautiful, beautiful human being. Like, he was so kind, soft-spoken, measured. He had a character that was just soft and pleasant and jovial and just light. It just seemed like a really beautiful human being. Really, I really mean that. But I didn't talk to him a whole lot about the specifics. I didn't say, tell me what you saw. Like, what did you, I didn't get into that because I wasn't going to push his comfort zone. It was just getting to know each other a little bit. Told him what I've been up to for the last, 20 whatever years, that kind of thing. We just had a really nice meeting. And then we left. And we didn't say, meet with us, go on, none of that. But we kind of continued communication, Marco and I. And then, for whatever reason, he's getting separated from his wife or something. There's something going on. There's a very small window where he's suddenly considering meeting with us and giving his story. And it's, I don't remember exactly what day it was. I'm going to say it was, let's just say it was a Sunday. Okay. I could be off. I don't remember. But it was a couple of days after we'd met with him. And he's suddenly thinking that maybe, just maybe, he might meet with us and do an on-camera thing like on a Wednesday he's flirting with the idea. So I see an opening and Marco's going back and forth. We want his testimony so badly. A guy who potentially drove this thing around at the military base. I've seen all the photographs of him at the base. I mean, the guy is exactly who he says he is. I see an opening. And I know in the past that when there's an opening, you don't let it shut. And you don't let them sleep on it. You act now. Because if they're in the moment, if you let them think too much, like if he had gone to sleep that night, guess what? He would have gone, what am I thinking? No, absolutely. I guarantee you that would have happened. He was oscillating. He was right on the fence. He was doing this. Our meeting was fairly fresh. So I said, you tell him we're coming right now. And he's like, well, I don't really know where he's going to meet. I don't know if we can do it here. I don't want to be seen with this. I said, we're on our way. I'm taking a chance. Load up the cars, rock and roll, baby. Let's go. And we're driving. It's like a 3 or 4 hour drive to the north. And, he was texting with Marco. They were on app Signal or something. I don't remember what signal they were. They were on something. And they were kind of going back and forth. And it was like, we can meet here. We had no meeting place. I don't know. It was like this. We're on our way. Finally, his biggest fear, we had one building that we could have met at, but it didn't have any power. We needed power. We needed light. So he's like, can't meet there. You damn straight ain't coming to my house. That's not going to happen, And I can't be seen in public with you. I can't, none of these things. He was so paranoid. So I was like, well, let's get a hotel room and we'll rent the hotel room. We'll sneak all of our gear to the best of our ability into the hotel room. And then he just shows up at the hotel room, walks in the lobby, and up he goes to our room. We're never seen together. We're in a hotel room of our choice. We know it's not bugged. We know it's not, there's no way because we picked this hotel. So he seems to take to that. And we have a certain period of time and that's how we did it. We went to the hotel room and we set up very last minute and got him in the room. And my biggest fear was, let's just say that we arrived and Alessi was there with us too. Poor Alessi had to stay in the parking lot down, and he didn't get to see any of it. But my biggest fear is that military X would arrive and we're still unloading camera gear and tripods out of the damn car in the parking lot, and he would just that's it, I'm out of here. I told these guys I wouldn't, you know what I mean?
So you had this little teeny room.
We had a tiny little room, and we had a narrow window like this, and it was so precarious. At any moment, this guy was going to get cold feet and leave. But we did it.
And you had it from the back with his voice changed completely.
That was it. That was the only option.
And it was... What did he say?
So the day started out like normal. Every day at the base. And then he said that he got a call. He was summoned. That's the word that he used. He was summoned in, that he was going to go on a mission. It was a secret mission. He was with some other fellow guys from S2, which is military intelligence. And then he was going to be driving a truck and he was going to be following another vehicle. It was a combi, which is a Volkswagen bus. And he was following this bus. They arrive at one downtown Varginha. Then they get to either one hospital, then they go to another. They go to the backside of Humanitas Hospital, and they pull their trucks up to the backside of Humanitas Hospital, and they get out, and they go inside, and there's like a military presence, doctors, people with clipboards, and there's a creature on the table inside of a body, like a box.
And he sees like...
He sees the knee down. He sees everybody looking at it, and he walks in, and I don't think that he was supposed to see it. He walks in, not really knowing what the hell's going on, and he sees this creature from a little above the kneecap down in a box with
sees
this brown,
the toes sticking out, right?
He sees the leg, part of the leg, brown skin, oily, greasy, just like everybody talked. He sees this V-shaped foot in the cask. He sees the look on everyone's faces, how freaked out they are. And he said he got in and he felt like over his head he was really like, holy shit, what am I looking at? Yeah, can you find it?
I'm trying to find it right now because you guys had what was really compelling is you had the image on there where it shows the creature like in the box.
Yeah.
I don't want to show a ton of this testimony.
There we go. Yeah, backing up from right there.
From right, like here?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. 16.
Because I said to him, put me in that room. That's what I always tell people. I want to be in that room.
Such a good question, man. I love that. All right, so this is 16 right there.
Yeah.
So this is the central thing, and I jumped the gun on this earlier a little bit, but that means that this guy is claiming that they took a video of this and they have it. And where I'll disagree is I don't know that it necessarily means, and I don't have the benefit of the research you've done here, so you can fill me in, but I don't know if it necessarily means that those guys would still have it. But what it does mean is that if that guy had a fucking camera and the bodies, of course they took a video. So there's a video 100%. That exists. He's 100%. Right about that.
So let me let's see. How could I say this? I have spoken with 4. I have spoken with personally 4 people that have seen photographic evidence of the creature.
Like a still frame or the video?
Both.
Who are these people?
I can talk about 2 of them.
Oh, that's good enough.
So the reason why I can talk about the 2 of them is because the New York Post did some probing and I helped them. And I neglected to say earlier, I said that Ubadajara, one of the leading researchers, has completely done it when he won't talk to anybody anymore. And then I said that the other guy, Claudio Covo, also a leading researcher on the case, he's dead. And there was another guy named Peccaccini, and he vanished, gone, for since 2004 or 5. Nobody could reach the guy. And when this film was about to come out, Peccaccini resurfaced. Excuse me. And Peccaccini, again, was one of the leading researchers. Peccaccini was involved in more research on this case than probably, right there with Ubadajara and maybe more. Peccaccini revealed for the first time ever that he was shown footage. He's got the name of the person. He knows where it was. 35 seconds of footage of the creature. It was alive. And he gave those details.
But it was dead by the time Military X saw it.
No, could have been another one. We don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that one was alive. And he doesn't know where it was. He said it wasn't he said it wasn't, the footage shows a creature that was feeble. And it was like I think he said it was sitting down. Or maybe there were 2 officers holding it, but it was feeble. It looks like it was dying. And he said that it was shot on video, and it was 35 seconds long, and they had protective gear on, they had masks, they had gloves, and they were one soldier here holding the creature up, but it was weak and feeble.
And it was like a child size.
Yeah, smaller, like 4.5 feet or something like that. And they're holding it up, but it was feeble. This is according to Peccaccini. And that they were trying to give it water, but it wouldn't drink, and they were trying to give it fruit, and it wouldn't eat that either. But he said it looked like it was dying. It was not. It didn't look. But it was exact description of what the girls had seen. Then there was another woman that we found. So we located a photograph. We were on our way to this person's house, and at the last minute, he got cold feet and wouldn't even meet with us and said he was concerned about his own security. And this was like probably the 3rd or 4th day when we got there on this last month-long trip. But a friend of his was shown the photograph. 2 friends of his. One of them just died. and the other one was a woman, and that woman gave us detailed description of what that photograph said. And it was two beings, one alive, and she said the other one looked like dead, and it had fire department and military police in the background, a couple people. And I said, well, how do you know one was dead? She said it was on its lying on the ground or something, and the other one was either standing or being held or something. But you could clearly see that one of them was alive. So that account went into the New York Post in an article, I think about a month and a half ago, and then.
But this guy had to drive it out, right? So after this happens, the military guy has to put it in his truck and wait for the Blackhawks you talked about, right?
Yeah.
From the U.S.
So they leave Humanitas Hospital, and they go to Eza military base for the night, and the creature is in the back of the truck.
And is it just Military X in the car, or does he have a partner?
There was a small convoy.
But the creature's in his.
I believe that he was driving the truck alone, but there was a convoy. There were other trucks.
But the creature's in his truck.
The creature was in his truck,
and he's told to go park it like against a wall.
Park it in Eza, back it up against the wall at Eza,
and wait.
And wait for the night. Yes.
And now cue back to the person reviewing like the air traffic you were talking about.
Well, this comes after, so I'll tell you that in a second.
Okay.
So he spends the night in Eza military base, and then from Eza military base, he takes it to. It's Campinas, Espesex military base in Campinas, Unicomp. It's a whole. We show a map in the film. So while this is all going on, because this is kind of the first time that we got testimony from an alleged, military officer that was at EZA that transported this thing around. So we get very credible testimony that this thing ended up at Campinas. I said at the time, on camera to Military X, then what happened? So you dropped this thing off at Campinas. What happened? What happened after that? And he says, I can't say for sure because I wasn't there, but the rumors on the base were that the Americans came in. So I got that seed planted from Military X pretty early on. In fact, every other military and civilian witness that I spoke to, I always asked, like, where did it go? If this happened, where did it go? And they all said Americans got involved. They all told me that. While we were in Brazil, the radar control officer who was on duty, and I can't remember the date, it was either January 21st or January 22nd, right around this time, 1996, saw, he said, USAF, that's the United States Air Force, USAF flight come in, and it was, didn't have authorization from the Brazilian government, and it landed in Campinas. And then two helicopters went from Campinas to Varginha. Okay. And then from Varginha back to Campinas.
And then at this point, though, you said the truck is at Campinas.
The truck was at Campinas.
Okay.
And then the United States Air Force, something was loaded onto that plane, and then it flew back to the States, and that's it. And that's all we know.
How do we know that the tapes weren't loaded on? Well, you said you have 4 people who have seen it, which means they would have seen it after this.
So yeah. I will. Let's see how much more I can reveal without jeopardizing my efforts. Let's put it this way: the creature spent time at Regional and Humanitas Hospital. There are people there with resources.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But you also didn't say in the documentary, but you were just telling us earlier today, off camera, right when you finished, it sounded like with like Military X, and you were like done these interviews with the daughters and everybody, like Sosa. All these people got visited one by one by ESA.
So this all took place over. It was the last sort of week of production. Doors were really opening, like things were really happening. The mayor was getting involved. We tracked down Eric Lopes. We met with Military X. Military X was considering opening a few other doors for us. Things were happening. It was very exciting, but it was also a little spooky. Like we all kind of felt like on edge, especially after the death threat.
You got a death threat?
Well, the threat of violence from Eric Lopes.
Oh, right.
We were on his radar now. Yeah. He was probably ticked off. Now he's probably notifying the military. Who knows? Like, they found me. They're trying to get a statement out of me. They're probing me. They're coming on my property.
Did you have a plan to be able to get multiple copies of your film out of there?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. I did that. Yes. After Eric Lopes, I went straight to FedEx copied all that data, every interview that I'd done to date, and FedExed it off to America.
You weren't worried that it was going to get intercepted
I
at
was,
FedEx?
of course I was, but I was the best I could do.
But then you saw it made it.
Yes, it did.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was worried about all the above. I was super paranoid. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
So then there were some doors opening for military acts. It was pretty intense. Like, I mean, if we had if the one thing I'm about to tell you didn't happen and we had another couple weeks, I'm fairly confident that we might have gotten our hands on some more evidence, certainly testimony, probably evidence too. But in any case, remember, it's weird. So people that we had either just met with or that we were about to meet with suddenly got phone calls from as a military base. And
who called them?
Military base.
But like, was it just like some sergeant at the front desk, or was it
military base? That's all I know.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it was as a military base. Whoever, I don't know. I didn't get that more details in the military base calling. And they said to Military X, hey, this is whatever. You're still living over at this address? Oh, good, yeah. How's the family doing? Yeah, you guys doing well? Oh, good, yeah. Hey, there's a American documentary film crew they're poking around. You didn't by chance meet with them, or did they contact you? Yeah, dude, they did that. And
now
then
he's on camera. They can tell the back of his head, I assume.
Yeah, and then the people that we were about to meet with, they got summoned into the base. And this time they got summoned into the base.
Are you allowed to say who they are?
No, I don't. Okay. No.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so they got summoned into the base. So we were told at that point, get the hell out of it. Like, you guys just don't come near us. Stay clear. Like, the situation is super hot right now. They're all over us. They know about you. They know you're poking around. Like, if I were you, I'd get the hell out of here. And so we did. We did.
Wow.
And that's when I FedExed, right around that time, I FedExed the tapes back. But we were, look, here's my best determination of the level of danger we may or may not have been in. And this is that. This is that their own men, their own people in the military were threatened. We know that for a fact because every one of them told us that. Even the people that did the x-rays don't talk about this. The consequences of sharing this story will be severe, is what they said. No one, as far as I know, not one of the witnesses said, we will kill you. They just said the consequences for violating this, you're taking this to the grave, will be very severe. Jail, death, whatever, family, just these people were terrified. And they were terrified 26 years later. Now you got a gringo camera crew poking around. I'm not even, poking around. Like, think about, like, if they're going to threaten their own people that were involved, that worked for them, what on earth would they do to us? So I just got super spooked, and we got the hell out. And, I want to go back, and I will go back, because I can't walk away from how close we've gotten. But I'm just trying to figure out when that's going to be. I've got an 8-year-old son. If I didn't have an 8-year-old son and I wasn't in a relationship with a beautiful woman and the mother of my child, it would be a lot easier decision for me. But I got to think about, I have a son,
Yeah.
And
a lot on the line.
Yeah, I got a lot on the line, and so I got to think about my security and weigh the pros and cons. I mean, this has been a lifelong effort for mine, and I'm suddenly within striking range of potentially the biggest piece of evidence in the history of the phenomenon. I'm getting so close to it. I'm talking to people that know where it is and have seen it. Do you know what that feels like for me?
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's like you could see it. You could see something you've been going after for 30 years, and there it is. It's right there.
Do you think you're going to get your hands on that video?
I'd say 50-50. Will it be released in my lifetime? 100%.
100%.
Yeah, I feel about 100%. 99.9.
Do you think you'll meet an alien before you die?
Would love to.
That's a hedge of an answer. That's just a hope. I didn't get a percentage there.
Yeah, you know, one thing that I've learned, never say never. Never have that knee-jerk response that we all have, myself included. Multiple times I've proven myself wrong, where I just think, this is impossible. This didn't happen because it can't happen. It couldn't have happened. And you have that. I myself, I'm guilty of it myself, and I'm researching this stuff, and I get it. I just say, like, never say never, and suspend judgment just long enough to at least consider the possibility. If this story did happen, it's undoubtedly the most significant event in modern history. I can't think of a bigger story. So it merits further investigation. It merits further attention. I'm hoping that this is just going to trigger a landslide of stuff. I know there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, which I'm helping out with. Discussions. There's a huge dollar amount that we put reward for the footage. We've even said we'd make a massive donation to the children of Varginha for schools and education and medicine. That I put on the table. So if you're not concerned about yourself, if you feel like you've got enough resources, you're not willing to risk, you can do it anonymously, you can do it publicly, you can do it however you want it. And we would make a significant donation to the city of Varginha for the children. And that's gotten people to consider it. And we'll see what happens.
One of the things I remember from the documentary that I believe it was like the Men in Black said to, maybe it was the mother of the daughters, I might be getting some people mixed up here though.
Yeah.
Was a warning they were given was something along the lines of, if this news got out, the population would collapse.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is, that's pretty cool. So the mother of the deceased military officer, police officer, Marco Trezi's mother, she got a visit from the military, and they said to her, it's true what happened, but if this story gets out, society would collapse.
Why?
Society as you know it would collapse.
Why do you think they said that? Because that's going to lead into a main question I have for
Well, you remember when the girls saw the creature, they were Catholic, and they thought it was the devil, and it was bringing in everything into question, and they were terrified. Is there an element of religion that they're concerned with? Is it going to make everyone reconsider the origins of man or the big... I don't know.
Or
Look,
are they going to come here, kill people?
Yeah. Has my life changed from what I've learned in the 30 years that I've been doing this? It has, in the sense that it's expanded my view of reality, my view of the universe, my view of where we might fit within that with our place in the universe, that we're just one part of a much more intricate, complex life system out there. I wonder, like, is it interdimensional? Is it time travel? Is it creatures that live underground? Is it interdimensional, interplanetary? Is it, is it all of the above? Maybe it is. I honestly, after all these years and all the military men and the scientific community that I've talked to, both on and off the record, I don't think anyone truly knows, has all the answers. In fact, I'm certain of it, that they don't have all the answers. And I'll remind,
I agree.
Remind your audience, people always say, why on earth would any governing body not come forward and share what potentially could be one of the biggest revelations of modern time, something that could unite the entire race, the entire planet, and that is, we're not alone. And I had a military guy tell me, he was almost laughing at me when I brought this up.
A U.S. military guy?
Yes. And he goes, yeah. I said, wow, this would be the biggest story of mankind. We're not alone. This would be great. It's amazing. He goes, yeah, you're looking at it all wrong, kid. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to look at it? He goes, look at it this way. This is from our perspective. We are paid to protect you. We are paid to control the airspace. There are objects clearly under intelligent control flying around in sensitive airspace, flying rings around our fastest jets. Shall they show up to be hostile? Not saying they are, but if they were, we have no visible means of defense against them. We don't know who they are, where they come from, or what they want.
Right, so they don't want the cat out. This is how I've been reading it. They don't want the cat out of the bag because they don't want to spook whatever's out there.
Because you're gonna reveal what you know, and at the same time, you're gonna reveal all the things you don't know and your vulnerabilities. And that's the problem. And that's the way it was explained to me. And that actually, that makes sense. It makes sense to me. I don't agree with it, but it makes sense.
That line of like, what secrets are too big that people can't know, and there's other human beings who get to decide that those people can't know, is a very scary, very not black and white line. And I fall on both sides of the issue at given moments on a lot of the big key issues, and this is no different. But you look at aliens, and it's like, my first inclination is, half the reason is because they're already here. Like, I look at people around there. I look at like a Xi Jinping. I look at a Donald Trump. I look at an Elon Musk. It doesn't have to be bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, that might be an alien. Steve Jobs might have been an alien. Steve Jobs could have been an alien. Steve Jobs was adopted.
Or maybe we all are. We're an alien. We're an alien to somebody.
Maybe we are. That's right. But like to our own planet, like maybe it's a simulation. I don't know what the fuck it is. But you know, you look at art over time, and you look at, let's just say, like, keep it simple, the last century, and you see these drawings, because like I've never looked into. I should do this deep dive. I've never looked into like 16th century, 17th century, 18th century like artist renditions of like an alien or something, or how much there was. So I'll do that later. But you look at like the 20th century and into the 21st century, whether it started with drawings and whatever, and moved towards movies where they make something look a certain way. And we all, when someone says alien, we all picture a very similar thing, and it's very similar to what these people saw. And so I always look at this and I go, art imitates life and it imitates a knowledge of something. So along the rabbit holes, or not the rabbit holes, but along the deep web ties to the people who make these movies, all the way up to the comedies like Men in Black, to movies like Alien, which is, that one was a little different, or, you know, E.T., that's a good example.
Let me give you an example of something. I know exactly what you're getting at here.
Yeah.
So if you take Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that was made in 1977 by none other than Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg features the creatures and all that stuff. So all those reports, including Richard Dreyfuss's face being burned, came directly out of Project Bluebook files, the Air Force's own files. Steven Spielberg had a cameo appearance of Dr. J. Allen Hynek, who investigated UFO reports in an official capacity for the United States Air Force. And those Close Encounters of the Third Kind that we talked about earlier, that's when the witnesses, you know, claim to see occupants, beings associated with the craft. Those depictions from the witnesses were taken out of the files and right into the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
And there you go. That's it.
So they got all that information, flight characteristics, what the UFOs look like, what the beings look like, out of Project Bluebook files.
It's absurd. It definitely...
And Hynek has a cameo appearance. Most people don't know that. There's Hynek smoking a cigar during the... Yeah, that's Hynek.
There is an interesting tie there, and I have believed that myself over the past year and a half or 2 years. Like I told you, Alessi got me really into this like a year ago. But like as an outside, just kind of like, you know, sitting back and letting out a deep breath, like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe everything that's going on out there. And thinking, like, I've had that thought of like, you know what, they might be a fucking alien, or that person might be an alien. Like, they're probably not from this planet. And when you think about all the conspiracies, many of which are wild, and then detract from ones that actually are real.
Fact is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, it's, I get like, I sit up at night sometimes, not even like when I'm baked, and I just like think about this, and I'm like, what if that's part of the meaning here, you know?
You know, by the way, if I this is the longest podcast I've ever done in my life.
Well, including what's going to be the first podcast.
Unbelievable. I hope I don't look. I'm, you know, Am I okay still? After
No, you're doing great. This happens. This has happened now.
I had a little extra coffee.
This has happened now.
I needed my little coffee break.
5 times before, where Alex Horowitz early on, Jim DiOrio one time for 73, 74, Tim McBride for 105, 106, and then another one I just recorded that I'm holding where, you know, people are going and I'm not going to stop them, so I just make it 2 podcasts.
You know what's so nice about it is that I realize, as someone who's researched this for all these years, I don't like daily think about all these different, you know, they're just swirling around in my head. But when I came on with you, I suddenly felt this river of information just flowing through me.
That's good.
And realizing, like, my God, it's so great to be able to get some of this out, because there's so many. When you make a movie, you shoot hundreds and hundreds of hours, hundreds of hours.
That we're all going to see now.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of that material ends up on the cutting room floor, not because it's not good.
You have 2
You
hours.
simply can't squeeze it all in. You know,
Yep.
I did a Senator Harry Reid. Do you know how much bonus material Senator Harry Reid? I'm the only person that got Senator Harry Reid on camera before his cancer diagnosis.
Jeez.
So he's walking, he's doing well, he's totally normal. And within weeks of that, he went into, like, you know, he had pancreatic cancer, and he went into treatment. He was weak. He was in a wheelchair. He couldn't speak very well.
He was old, but that does make you think.
But he was healthy.
That
he was
makes
perfectly
you think.
fine.
I don't know. I don't know about that
come on. Please.
Suddenly, like, oh, Harry, you talked, buddy. Hate to see you go.
You know, and you know what? Harry had no intention of this program ever to be revealed.
I mean, he signed something to talk with you, obviously, right?
Well, no, yeah, but it was on the front page of the New York Times. It was exposed what he started. Look, he kept it secret. Like I said earlier, he kept it secret through the tail end of the Bush administration, all the way through the Obama administration.
What year again did you talk with him?
In 2017
or 18?
18 or 19.
Like
Probably
right
18.
before he retired.
He had just retired. Months later.
Right, okay.
Yeah, just retired.
And then you killed him.
No, yeah, right.
I'm kidding.
No, I had tremendous respect the fact that the former Senate Majority Leader, I mean, that's a big decision to make.
Well,
You've got this whole, like, career spanning decades, and you're going to go out with talking about UFOs. I mean, that was kind of a risky move.
He was so, like,
He said,
matter of fact about it.
This is what I'll never forget.
And you, by the way, you didn't tell in the first podcast we got off it. You didn't tell the story about how the interview almost didn't happen. So say this and then tell that story.
Okay,
that's great.
So you say what?
Say the thing you were just going to say. I didn't want to stop you.
Oh my God! Now, let me tell you the Senator Harry Reid thing first, because
Okay, all right.
You know, in a career of mine, I've got 50 years of denial, which I sold to Discovery Channel, no comment. Then I did Out of the Blue 1, Out of the Blue 2. Then I did I Know What I Saw. Then I did The Phenomenon, and suddenly I'm doing The Phenomenon. And suddenly I've got the opportunity to interview a household name, someone who's never gone on the record talking about UFOs in the past, former Senate Majority Leader, one of the most powerful men in America. And it's like, and I wasn't talking to my partner Rebecca about it. I wasn't talking to my friends about it. It was all brewing behind the scenes. I didn't want to jinx it. It was like, you know, going to happen. Because, you know, sometimes someone will get cold feet, or for whatever reason, they'll just be like, you know what, I thought about it, I'm not going to do it. So don't talk about it. Just go get it done. So months of back and forth, at least maybe 2 months of back and forth, 3 months of back and forth, maybe longer, right around that period of time. George Knapp is being incredibly mandatory. Like, I couldn't have done it without him, ever. And then he agrees to do it. We get all the camera crew to Las Vegas, and we're going to meet in the Las Vegas University, so LAU or something, or LA. Anyway, we meet at his office, and then there's a library.
UNLV.
Yeah, it would have been
Nevada,
University,
Las Vegas.
Probably, yeah,
Okay,
University of Las Vegas. And we meet at that instead of, because he also had an office in the Bellagio, and they didn't want to do it there.
Of course he did. That's great.
It's all happening. I'm in touch with his assistant. I think her name was Kate, and going back and forth. Everything's going great. Here's the directions. We're going to do it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, whatever. He's going to have 55 minutes and he's going to show up here. We'll let you guys in a little early so you can get set up. Here's the directions. Well, that night, my wonderful director of photography, David West, his son, I guess, was bullied at school. And his wife called, and he was all distraught. And I guess he got hit, and he went to the hospital for like whatever little scratch or cut, or had to get some stitches. And he was distraught, rightfully so. And he was up all night. And I guess the next morning, Dave was going to leave early, and he was going to get set up because there's a lot, setting up all the lights and getting the whole. We wanted to get plenty of time to do all that. Got the sound guy coming, lighting, and really, this is my biggest interview of my life, my whole career. We got the camera set up. I even went as far as like the backdrop, which was a library, and I was putting the books in the right order and color coordinating them, and I spent like a half an hour, 45 minutes just getting the books looking great, and rechecking.
Danny Jones would be proud of you for that.
And rechecking the scene, getting everything set up, and we're minutes away. I get a text from the very man, George Knapp, who set this whole thing up, who's instrumental in setting this whole thing up. And he says, call me immediately, like fucking right now. I was like, oh my God, Jesus. Like, look down, I'm like, God, what happened?
Did I do?
So, of course, I call him immediately, and he goes, this interview is about to be terminated. I was like, what? This is so left field. What for what?
We're here.
Yeah, and he says, someone on your crew is being a complete, like, beep, beep wad.
You can say what you want.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to reveal what he said because it's his words. But he was like, very explicit, and he was very upset. Someone on your team is being is there someone drunk on your, like, do you have a drunk person who's verbally abusing his assistant, Kate? I'm like, oh my God, they're about to walk away. This interview is about to be terminated. You're seconds away from being terminated. Oh my God, my heart sank. I'm looking around the room and I'm seeing like the audio guy. There's another assistant that we had, and there's an audio guy that I just met. I'm like, God, I don't even know him. He looks so nice. Like,
what's your problem, motherfucker?
Yeah, I'm looking at him. I'm looking at everybody. I'm like, and I look over and I see Dave, the director of photography, and I see him, and I look at him across the room, and I looked at him, and he looks back at me, and he's like, he's setting up a tripod or something. He's like what? And I just looked at him, and I was like, that's the weak link. That must have been Dave. He was up all night, whatever. He goes, I suggest you do some damage control, and you do it now.
He said that to you?
George Knapp said that to me. I suggest you do some damage. I'm on the phone with George Knapp as I'm scanning the room. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Who is this here? So I'm looking around, and I was like, it must be Dave. And Dave, like I said, Dave's like, look at me like, what? Like, I was like, we'll talk later. He goes, I suggest you do damage control. That's what George Knapp says. He goes, and I would do it now. So I call Kate, the right-hand person of Senator Harry Reid. I call her up, and she's like, oh, hello. And she's like, is there somebody like drinking or something on your crew? I said, my God, absolutely not.
It's a long story. His kid got beat up. Please show up now.
I said, I'm so sorry that what happened. She's like, I've been working for Senator Reid for over 10 years. I've never had anybody be so rude to me and just cranky and cantankerous. It was only, it's like, I thought maybe were you guys out drinking all night? I was like, absolutely not, Kate. I said, I'm so sorry. I said, Dave's son was bullied at school. He got punched. He was hospitalized. He had to get stitches. Dave was fretting all night. He was up early to get set up. I guess he must have been flustered. Maybe perhaps he couldn't find the address. He called you and vented. I'm so sorry. This is unlike him. I've been working with him for 10 years. He's a polished professional under any other circumstances. Like, I can't emphasize the level of apology. It's never happening. And she said, okay. Well, I really appreciate you explaining that because, I thought maybe he was drunk or, he was really angry, And I'm just looking at Dave, just like, I can't believe you almost blew this whole, like, you know. And Dave, I'm sorry if you watch this and you're upset that I'm exposing this, but it is a pretty funny story. All's well that ends well.
Everybody understands.
Yeah, but it was
all
like,
bets are off.
it was, you know, and that's the thing is, it's like, it's never a done deal until it's done deal. I've showed up with other witnesses to do interviews, and they got cold feet when I arrived. I had a whole interview set up, with Buzz Aldrin, landed on the moon with Neil Armstrong, Apollo 11. His sister, Faye Ann Potter, and I were friends. She revealed his encounters with UFOs, yada, yada, yada. Got to France. I mean, I borrowed money because I was going to interview
Buzz Aldrin.
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
Get there. I fly to France. I borrowed money, got a camera crew. I get all the way there, and he pulls the carpet out from underneath me. Like, I keep waiting day after day after day. So I've learned in the past. You think, you know, believe me when I tell you, it ain't a done deal until it's a done deal.
Until she's naked in my bed and the contract's in my fucking account. That's it.
Until the cash is in the account.
Yep.
Until the cash is in the account.
I meant to say cash.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is, so that's why even with military acts, I was super paranoid he was going to have a second. You know, because people like in the moment, you're on the phone with them and they're feeling pumped and jazzed, and all of a sudden you hang up and they're driving to go do it, and they go, that voice comes on and says, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Like, what are you really gaining out of doing this? You're putting your family's life in jeopardy, or, you know, for Buzz Aldrin, he was like, my story is not going to change anything anyway. And it's going to jeopardize, undoubtedly, my efforts to get money to raise money for, you know, with Congress to develop rockets that are going to put citizens in space. That was his whole thing. So anyway, my point is that, like I've said a million times, it ain't over till you got the cat's in the bag.
Well, speaking of it ain't over, what's this next documentary you got going? Because it sounds like you're building on the phenomenon more than anything.
Yeah, well,
at least some of the people you talked with in there, I should say. I'm sorry.
I've met with a lot of military people who have personally handed over unambiguous, crystal clear, broad daylight footage of UFOs. UFOs chasing rockets at Vandenberg Air Force Base, Atlas rockets, UFOs landing at Edwards Air Force Base circa 1957, photographic evidence from Phoenix, both civilian, primarily military, that gets handed over to some unknown government agency. So I've been hearing this for a while. And I can back it up with proof of on camera, you know, that I've taken personally from the witnesses who personally handled the physical taped evidence over to the government. So I've been hearing this for a while. Then I meet with Senator Harry Reid, and he confirms with me that what's been released, what's been seen, what is known is only the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so all that's swirling around in my head. And I know it from, you know, the military guys that handled it. I know got a confirmation of the guy that ran the secret UFO Pentagon program who launched it, Senator Harry Reid, who confirms it on camera. Kind of a big deal. So then I'm traveling to Brazil about this alleged UFO crash, and now we're talking bodies. And we're talking debris. And I find out when we're there that it all went to the United States. So what am I thinking? Where is it? Who has the authority to release it? So I want to go pound the streets in D.C. I want to address these rumblings of recovered debris and bodies, which has been happening. You can look it up. Even in the New Yorker, I think in 2019, there's talk about it. So Reid has talked about it. There's people part of Roswell that have talked about it. There's rumblings, very credible people that are talking about recovered material. There's laboratories that are apparently analyzing some of this material. There's that leaked memo by Davies about recovered material. So it's been, you know, the curtain's been drawn back a little bit. I want to find out, where is this evidence? Who has the authority to release it? Because ultimately, that's the natural transition from where I've been, where my thought process has been, and where this needs to go. Look, we're going to move forward on the assumption the phenomenon's real. That's been established. That's been beaten to death. Where's the evidence? who has the authority to release it? Is it in the hands of the private sector? Is it free from oversight from the members of Congress? There's a new law a new act signed into law that basically, in a simplified explanation, provides immunity for witnesses to come forward without fear of prosecution or violating the national security oath. That's it. That was signed into law, I think, a day before Christmas, something like that.
And you're making this one with Christopher Mellon?
I'm having help with people.
Gotcha.
Yes, on the inside. I've got help with people. Yes. So, we'll see how far I get. This is potentially some of the most guarded secrets, but we're not going to get anything if we don't go in there and try. So.
Right. And that's a crazy one, though. That's like going right to the belly of the beast.
It's going to the belly of the beast, and maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. And I think there are some people out there, and this recent bill that passed that was signed into law just a couple of weeks ago, it would provide immunity. And I'm hearing that there are already people queuing up to go through the process and it's got to get approved with Congress and stuff like that. But believe me, there are members of Congress that want the truth out too. So the intelligence people, the people with the goods are less inclined to want this out. They're going to have egg all over their face. And it doesn't benefit them in any way coming this out. But people have had it. There's a new, the people from the 40s and 50s have died off, and there's a new generation of people that want this out. There's some that don't, obviously. But so that's pretty much what I want to go after.
So you're going to film that this year with the idea of putting it out in 2023.
Yeah. 2023, 2024, in the next year or so.
You were saying you want to try to do one every other year.
But listen, when you finish a movie, you've got deliverables, you've got sound design, you've got sound composition, you got sound mix, you got color correction, then you get in the queue, you make the deliverables to the distribution company, whoever that might be.
Not Discovery.
Yeah, not Discovery. And then there's like a 3, 4, 5-month processing waiting where they build all the data, they get all the subtitles done, all the different languages, that takes time.
It's a lot, yeah.
It takes time. So even if I finished the film within a year and got it in the queue, that takes time once it's in the queue to actually officially release it. You got to get all the press stuff written. That takes time.
Yeah, you got Moment of Contact done quick. They did well, that whole process.
I did. And I'd like, if I can follow that parallel. Look, I'm not going to compromise the integrity of the product.
Right.
I'm not going to rush this thing to get out. If I've got opportunity to get some higher level interviews, guess what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to go to DC for a month. I'm going to shoot all of the stuff that I need to get, me standing up, me walking through the halls of Congress, all the B-roll, all the time lapse, all that stuff. And then if I have to go back a few times for follow-up interviews, for a sit-down,
fuck it,
boom, just go in there and do it.
Yeah.
I've already got all the other layouts. I'm good.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple things from the first podcast that we did today. We've been going for hours and hours and hours.
The longest podcast I've done in my life.
I'm going to leave them on the table and blue ball some people and not go there. I know I had said, there were 2 things I wanted to bring up to you. We addressed one. I never got to the second. If I go to the second, we're going to be here for another 2 hours. So I don't want to do that. What I want to close with is something I was getting at maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, but we didn't go all the way. And that is, if we do find out, let's even put a timestamp on it. If we do find out in the next decade that aliens exist, I won't even say that they're here, but that they've been here, and we have that definitive proof we've talked about. How do you think that'll affect humanity? Will there be more peace because of that? Will that bring people together? Or do you think that this could be an existential crisis moment, and it could go the way of, I don't know how, but it could go the way of, for example, what some of those people warned some of the witnesses, the population would collapse or something like that. How would you, it's an impossible question, but I'm still going to ask it. How would you see it going?
I've thought about this a long time. And, Ronald Reagan had made a couple of statements regarding the effect that he felt if there was an extraterrestrial presence or threat or from the outside, that it would have a very unifying effect. And I tend to agree with him on that. I think that we would stop looking at ourselves as pink, white, green, and yellow, and start looking at ourselves for who we really are, and that's one race, one species, one planet. And I believed it then, and I still believe it now. So I personally think once we got over the fear of the unknown and the shock of it all, I think there's been a priming the public for some time now. I feel that once we get over the fear of that people would accept it. We still got to take out the garbage and do the dishes and go to job and make money, but that we would just it would give us a bigger perspective on a bigger as part of this just a bigger universe with so many different possibilities. So if it was here to do us harm, we would have known that a long time ago.
I tend to agree with that.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Unless they're among us. Unless they're like completely among us.
But I mean, is it all benign and happy? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it isn't. But for the most part, all the military and the civilian encounters that I have spoken to, and I've spoken to a lot all around the world, China and Africa and South America, Australia, Canada, all over, all across the United States, Mexico, the encounters have been benign. In fact, we are the ones that have taken a hostile posture against unknowns. We've tried to shoot at them. Maybe it
doesn't affect them.
Yeah, so that's we're the ones. I don't think we're no longer taking that hostile posture. We're not shooting at them anymore. It's never ended well for us to try to do that. So again, if they were here to do us harm, we would have known a long time ago. I'm not really worried about that. I mean, I'm sure there are people listening to this podcast that are going to just beg to differ, and that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm just giving you my perspective based on my research. Yeah. We could go on for hours.
We could go on for hours. That's a great answer, though, and I hope you're right. I hope it would be something that unifies, and like everything would be cool. Like we don't know what we're dealing with, but people can get the phenomenon, moment of contact. I was calling it a moment of contact earlier. I don't know why I put the A in there, but phenomenon and the phenomenon and moment of contact on Apple, Amazon, and I will put the link to these in the description as well. If
you want to rent it from Amazon, both of them. It's the cheapest. If you want to buy it, do it from iTunes or Vimeo, because you get, for the same price, you get like an hour or two of bonus material.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll have those links in there, and we're going to look for another documentary you're working on either in 2023 or 2024. If people haven't liked, commented, and subscribed to the show, please do that now, and I'm really glad we did this. Thank you so much for coming down here. This was fucking awesome.
It was really good. It was worth the drive.
We're going to make it worth your time. Don't worry. We got it. But
awesome.
I appreciate you, sir.
Man, of course.
And your work's amazing, and I can't wait for the next one. We will support on here. It's pretty fucking cool what you got yourself in the middle of.
Thank you. I got a few good more years left in me, I think.
I think you're just getting started, and we're going to talk to my security guy, too. So,
all right, cool.
Anyway, everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.